Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Keeping Up with Graphene Innovation. I'm Iris, one of the R&D scientists here at 9N Technologies.
And I'm Weronika. I'm also an R&D scientist here at 9N, and today we are very excited to explore the advanced materials and how they're revolutionizing water treatment.
So,
And
joining us today is Luke Marden, founder of Aqua Catalysis, a Manchester-based cleantech startup company creating semiconductor-driven photocatalysts for sustainable wastewater treatment. Luke, thank you for being here. It's great to meet you.
Nice to meet you guys. It's great to be here too.
So thank you very much again for joining us here today. And before we dive into the technology, could you share with us a bit of your background, first of all?
So hi everyone. My name's Luke, and I founded a company called Aqua Catalysis. But before I founded Aqua Catalysis, I studied chemistry at the University of Manchester, and my field of interest has always been practical chemistry, carrying out experiments, seeing how you can take raw chemicals and make something special. And I founded Aqua Catalysis a couple of years ago, and it's been such an exciting journey ever since.
okay, that is quite fascinating how your path combined both chemical engineering fundamentals and cutting-edge research. That blend really sets the stage for innovation, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. I mean, Manchester is known for innovation. We're like the graphene city, as it were. Where it's there's so much innovation going on, whether it's AI, graphene based, whatever it is. This is the place to actually put capital and make it work to create great technology of the future to meet the challenges of today and tomorrow.
Yeah, it sounds that Manchester University has helped you a lot. But what first inspired you to launch this company 2 years ago?
Well, it's a little bit of a funny story. I was actually walking down the river and it was a really bright sunny day, and I was focused too much on social media. I was a bit distracted and I tripped and dived headfirst into the river. And I stood up and I was completely drenched, and had raw sewage over covering me with algae and everything. And I was just like, I saw a raw sewage pipe disposing raw sewage into the river as I was in there, and it was a really sunny day. And I just stood up and I thought, I need to do something about this. I cannot allow this to keep on going. So I thought, why do we not harness the power of sunlight to treat wastewater, make sustainable technology of the future? And that's where aquacatalysis was born. It was established out of a dirty river because we knew we needed to do something about this problem.
Oh my gosh. So this accident has inspired you to start something amazing and take an economic advantage of early on. Well, it must have been like an incredible aha moment for you.
Yes, it was. It was. It didn't feel it at the time, I must admit, covered in a load of uh, toxic waste, essentially, a load of rubbish. But it sparks my imagination, and you don't know there's a problem until it's actually affected you. So I saw that there was a problem, and I thought that there was a need, and then I came up with a solution to help tackle it. So it was born out of necessity, basically, the company. It was based off my story, and it's carried on forward, building the right team to help us execute going forward and establishing relationships with universities that can help us get to the point where we need to be at.
And that is amazing. That story makes it even more inspiring and real. And I do have a question. How did you pinpoint semiconductors and photocatalysis as the breakthrough for wastewater treatment?
Sure. So when I actually fell in the river, it was a really bright sunny day. So I thought, why do we not just harness the power of sunlight to actually treat wastewater? I didn't even know about photocatalysis. So when I did some literature reviews looking at the different types of technology to see if there's anything like that on the market, I saw photocatalysis was mentioned, and I was looking at why is photocatalysis not being scaled up so far? And it's all about the semiconductor part of the component of the photocatalyst, where it's not as efficient in harvesting power sunlight. So what we've been focused on for the last 2 years, developing our first generation products, and now we've moved into second gen development. It's all about making the semiconductor components more efficient and everything else. So I did when I fell in the river, I've never heard of photocatalysis, but it led to the research of where we are today.
That is great, actually. And you mentioned previously that you've teamed up with the Manchester University, and from what I've seen, you have collaborated with more universities and research centers. And how have those collaborations shaped your development? And before we continue, just a comment. This link is about to expire, so when it shuts down, when it closes, jump over to the next one that I sent you this morning.
Okay,
Thank
sure.
you.
Right, so we've worked with 5 different universities designing, developing, analysing the technology. And it's been such a great, rewarding experiences working with every university because they all do things differently and they all specialise in different areas. So for me and my team, going to different universities, collaborating with them, learning new stuff, having access to cutting edge facilities has enabled us to develop our products more efficiently and validate our research. It's also helped boost the morale of the team that they get access to these top tier universities, and it boosts their career prospects. So it's been a great thing. We've received a lot of value out of working with the universities. We want to work with the universities, and that is part of our plan going forward. Keep strengthening the relationships, whether it's on the business or whether it's on the technical side. And that's every day I'm always thinking, how can we give back to the universities as well as work with them?
That's brilliant. That multidisciplinary approach really speeds things up, doesn't it? And that's really lovely to see academia and startups working so closely together.
Yes, I mean, all the universities do work closely together. They're all aligned. They all appreciate the challenges of wastewater and how it affects biodiversity and natural habitats, as well as public health. So they're all on board. They're all very supportive and encouraging. Sometimes you have to receive some constructive feedback and actually change your approach, but on the whole, it's been an incredibly beneficial process working with them, and I just really want to continue working with them because we get a lot out of the relationship, and I think they get a lot out of it too.
Definitely, you both gained something from this procedure and this process. I have a question now. So you mentioned the incident that inspired you to create this technology.
Mhm.
So basically, have you prevented other people from this thing happening to them as well? Or like on a more serious note, um, how have you managed to bridge this new treatment to actual industrial and municipal systems?
So we have visited wastewater companies to understand the actual pressure points, the pain points that they are experiencing. And we were shocked and horrified when we visited some plants that Ofwat, the regulator for the water industry, don't actually mandate water companies to monitor for pharmaceutical generated pollutants because that is such a growing problem. For instance, birth control. Birth control is a massive problem. When birth control gets released into the environment, it actually affects the hormone levels of aquatic life, which depopulates the species. But also it can affect human health, that it can actually lower sperm and estrogen levels. So it's a massive problem, and that's just one type of pharmaceutical pollutant, and there's thousands of out there. So we've been focused on developing a photocatalyst that is focused mainly on treating these very harmful pollutants. That's our niche that we've been focusing on. It can also treat, a photocatalyst can also treat other different types of organics, but we've been focused on the pharmaceutical component of it. But yes, we have been in discussions with water companies, chemical manufacturers, understanding the challenges of scaling up technology, how you can make it more cost effective, how you can actually understand about the different components in the actual product to make sure it meets regulation requirements. So it is a multifaceted collaboration with industry, with end consumers, with chemical manufacturers, with universities, and just the general public at large also. So it does require everybody on board to actually share their unique stories. So it's my story about falling in the river, how Aqua Catalysis started. Everybody wants to have access to clean water. I think it's a human right to have access to clean water wherever you are in the world. And I believe that our children and grandchildren should be able to play in local rivers and streams without worrying about if they're going to get contaminated and get an illness from the water. So I believe that's the reason why we've received so much support, as it relates to one of your previous questions, is because it's a challenge, it's a problem that everybody can resonate with. And I think that's one of the messages behind Aqua Catalysis is we're not just developing technology for the future, but we're also bringing people along and trying to understand their unique stories connected to water pollution and trying to use Aqua Catalysis as a platform to articulate their vision for the future. I think that's been the most rewarding part of the project, to be honest.
Yeah, and that is incredibly important because this affects everybody. And engaging regulators from the start seems to be the key. Providing safety upfront builds credibility.
I mean, when it comes to regulation, I mean, we have to talk to the water companies and all our different end consumers to understand what chemicals can and can't go into the photocatalyst, because we want to do good, we don't want to make the problem worse. So sometimes you have to think, you have to balance with cost and with the environment. It's all about making it sustainable financially, sustainable from an environmental point of view, and it's sustainable from an engineering standpoint. So we have to make compromises sometimes, but that's one of the important parts is when you're a startup, you can't just be in a lab doing research and just hide away. You've got to go out into the real world, speak to people, understand what their needs are, and then you can factor that into your product development. And that is the real important thing, because you can't isolate yourself. You've got to talk to people and collaborate, because without collaboration, you can't advance a project.
So we were very impressed to see that Aqua Catalysis has recently received several awards. First of all, congratulations for that. And how have these accolades impacted the growth of the company?
Well, receiving accolades is always nice to receive, because receiving positive feedback from the industry is vital, and it's the main focus point has been giving the team like congratulations for the hard work that they put in, and I couldn't do any of the amazing things that we've been doing without them. So I see it as a way to boost morale, give them recognition for the hard work that they've done, but also use it as a way to tell us we need to actually mobilize, we need to keep making progress, we've got to keep going. But also, receiving accolades has enabled us to open up doors with the universities. It's enabled us to bring in top talents within the team, as well as expand our advisory board. But also, one of our cherished accolades is the El Harari Graphene Enterprise Award, which is endorsed by the Nobel Prize winner who discovered graphene, and that was actually our first award. And we won that award. We're the first people who's ever won it who isn't. I not done a PhD or anything, so I'm the first one who's ever won that award without doing a PhD. But that award enabled us to build relationships with universities, basically to get me access to PhD level laboratories without me actually having to do that. So I've been able to focus now more on the business side. And we've now built a team who have PhDs with the relevant disciplines to actually execute on the technical side. So the accolades, the awards, have enabled us to build a strong community behind the project to help catapult us to the next stage. And we wouldn't be where we are today without the awards, especially the El Hirari one, which is close to our hearts.
Yeah, that is incredible. Congratulations again. And yeah, I agree. Awards are so important, especially at the beginning, because people don't often see results of their work and they work so hard, spend so much time on it. They don't know if that's going to pay off. So reward is just such an amazing motivation for them and acknowledgement of the effort. So yeah, that's amazing.
It is amazing. We're now at the moment we're more focused on moving away from awards, so we're being a bit more choosy which awards we want to be associated with. But I see them as a way to like mobilize the team. As the CEO, it's always important to articulate the vision, get enough publicity out there to bring people along for this exciting journey that we've embarked on so far for the last couple of years.
It's certainly a way to get your product and your company known.
Mm.
So on another note, how does Aqua Catalysis measure its environmental impact?
Well, we do different things. So, as I said before, we talk to the water companies and our end consumers to understand what pollutants are they wanting to target, so we can actually factor that into our product development plan. And also, we talk to chemical manufacturers to understanding about how efficient the process is to actually produce the chemicals, where the chemicals mined from. So we're always factoring in what is our carbon footprint. So we've worked with like the green economy to carry out a decarbonisation qualification for one of our former team members, so we could actually bring more expertise within the team to understand how we can become more green. But also, we do other types of ways to give back through an environmental way. So some things that we have done, we've done some consultancy project work for some universities. Me and my team taking some environmental students uh, to do field trips. So we take them to different rivers in the northwest of England, getting in the river, getting dirty, and basically analysing the water in the field to understand what the different types of pollutants. And some of the things that we saw was completely disgusting. We've seen raw sewage pipes underneath cemeteries dumping raw sewage into the water. But also, when we were actually analysing for the pollutants, we realised that there was no life in some of the rivers. It was completely dead. There wasn't even a single insect in it. And what we've enjoyed also is with these types of projects, it's not just about educating students to enable them to advance their career prospects. It's also been about engaging with the community. So, for instance, when we were in the Mersey River analysing for some pollutants, there were a lot of people walking their dogs and congratulating us for actually being the people who are actually analysing the pollutants and actually doing something about it. Because they were saying 5 years ago they used to go crab fishing, prawn fishing, they used to get salmon there. Now they can't even get an insect in there. It's terrible. The river is dead. And we just think it's unacceptable. Something needs to be done. And we understand we can't tell the councils to actually change where they can actually direct their raw sewage pipes into the rivers. But what we believe is tackling the pollution at its source, actually at the wastewater plant. That is what we're trying to do. We're trying to tackle that problem. We don't want these harmful pollutants in the water going through these sewage pipes into the river, because we've seen the impact on the environment and it's disgusting. But relating back to our products, we do make sure about toxicology reports to understand about what materials we're actually using to actually develop our photocatalyst and making sure that it meets regulation requirements. And if we're unsure about something, we go and talk to our advisory board to help us tell us what we can and can't do. We tap into that expertise, we leverage it really well.
Yeah, it's amazing. Showing people why what you're doing is important. And Has quantifying the environmental impact been important for making decisions for you?
Yes, it has been important to, I think for me, getting in the actual field into jumping into rivers intentionally this time, it's really beneficial to actually see, get your boots on the ground and see what is actually being done. Visiting wastewater plants, going to local rivers and streams, analysing the pollutants, understanding what the challenges are firsthand, rather than reading it in like a research paper or watching the news, seeing it for yourself firsthand does reinforce the message behind the company, why we're doing this. We're not just wanting to generate profit, which is a big strong focus for us, wanting to make shareholders giving a return on investment, but we also want to have a return on investment of developing social impact technology and leveraging everybody's expertise to actually do good. So it is an incredibly rewarding process.
Yeah, it sounds like it. So,
Mm.
what is next for Aqua Catalysis in terms of scaling up and new markets?
So our next steps is to receive investment. So this is what I'm doing all the time now. My goal has been more step back away from the lab, let my team handle all the technical stuff, and I have to be the one to sell the vision, articulate what we're trying to do, to bring in capital to enable us to hit our milestones going forward. So going forward, we want to develop our second and third generation products. And then at that stage, we can then bring the technology to market to have the environmental impact that we desire. But when we're looking for an investor who cares about innovation, who sees this as a project of taking inefficient technology and making it efficient so it can broaden the application to benefit wider society as well as the bottom line. It's a great opportunity for everybody involved.
Yeah, that sounds really significant. Can't wait to see it in action.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Looking ahead,
Mhm.
which emerging technologies do you think will shape water treatment?
I'm a little bit biased. I favour photocatalysis as my company is called Aqua
Of course.
Catalysis. It's in the name. But visiting wastewater plants, I realised there's no silver bullet. All the different types of technology, desalination, membranes, filtration, mine, of course, photocatalysis, all have to work in tandem. We all have to work together and collaborate. We all do our we all focus on certain components of the treatment process, and we all need to work together to optimize wastewater plants because the infrastructure, quite frankly, is crumbling. It's not fit for purpose. It needs modernisation, and it's going to be it's going to take decades for the wastewater companies to actually improve their infrastructure. So it's important for advanced technologies, which Aqua Catalysis is classified as, and other companies to play our role and deploy technology to make the existing infrastructure more efficient to meet the challenges of today and for tomorrow. So there is a lot of different types of technologies, but we believe that photocatalysis as a green technology is the future. Harvesting the power of sunlight to treat wastewater, using energy stored from in batteries to power UV lamps at night, so then you can have a clean hour wastewater treatment process using advanced materials to accomplish that. I think that is something to be really proud of. I think the UK has a great track record with innovation, whether it's the first place of the first computer being produced to the place where subatomic particles were discovered, as well as graphene. But we also believe that photocatalysis needs to be modernised. It needs to have a wider application. And that is what we're doing. We're making an efficient technology more efficient, and then we can then scale it. So it's great. And we always love talking to other people who are developing other technology for different applications of the wastewater treatment. And if we have contacts in different sectors, we all help each other. And I think that's the takeaway message from this interview, is that we all help each other, we all care, and we all want to make a difference. And it's such an exciting topic at the moment.
So I guess
I
this is
agree.
what we're doing. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I was just gonna say it's a really amazing vision you have. Yeah, I agree.
Thank you, thank you. It's very philosophical. When you're developing the technology, you have to remember why you're doing it, because as a startup, you've got good days and bad days, but you've got to keep on going, you've got to keep on growing, and you've got to keep on bringing people along for the journey. So it's a great opportunity. That's the takeaway message I want everybody to have.
Okay, so I guess this is the advice that you would give young entrepreneurs that are launching their materials-driven applications to target modern problems.
Sure. So I understand where young entrepreneurs come from. So I was studying chemistry at the University of Manchester, and I decided to drop out of university to set up Aqua Catalysis because I believed in the vision. Now, I had the vision and I had the idea, but I realised that I needed to bring people along. So I had to establish a team. Now, it's really important that you build a team that sticks with you through the good times and the bad times, because it's so easy for everybody to stick with you during the good times when you're working with the best universities, money's rolling in, and everything's going really well. You need to build a team that not just have the expertise to execute your what you're trying to achieve, but you also need to have a team that has the willingness and the mindset and the determination to actually overcome problems. So that's really important. And a lot of the time is if you're an academic, you need to get in the field, whatever it is, speak to your end customers, go to networking events, get your name out there, bring people along, because you can develop the best technology, but if no one knows about it, no one is going to buy it. If you want to do something meaningful, you've got to put yourself out there. You're going to get a lot of pushback. You're going to get a load of no's, but you've got to use it to build resilience, build your character, and overcome it. Don't take things personally. Have a thick skin. Have some balls of steel. Do something about it, Just have fun with it. Show your personality. Life is so short, Just go and do it. Just go and do it.
That is a great advice. So just focusing on building the team and grounding your innovation in the market and going along with your vision.
But also, it's important that when you need to know what your strengths and your weaknesses are, so play into your strengths and build a team that covers your weaknesses. And when you build a team, you still, and as a startup, you're still going to have weaknesses in the team. You can't actually cover every single weakness. And that's the reason why it's important to actually have an advisory board who you can actually consult with, who have got the expertise, decades of expertise that you can tap into. And we're very fortunate that we have some people that we can actually talk to who can help us open doors, boost our confidence when we're going through some difficult times, who can look over what we're doing from a technical standpoint as well as from a business point of view also. So it's about bring people along for the journey, put yourself out there, have fun, put a smile on your face and other people, and just tell people why you're doing it. Tell your story, and people who are interested are going to come with you, and people who aren't interested, that's okay. We all have our own interest, and that's the main thing. Be ourselves.
That is
Luke,
very
thank you so much.
inspiring.
Okay.
Thank
Thank you very
you
much.
for sharing your insight. It was a very inspiring conversation.
Thank you very much. I enjoyed talking to you guys too.
It was indeed a very inspiring and very interesting conversation. And on behalf of the 99 Technologies team, we would like to thank you for the conversation today and wish you all the best with your next chapters.
Thank you very much. I wish the best for you guys too.
Thank you very much.